Oh man, I'm so sad because I just obliterated, or recently I obliterated the recording that was supposed to be up for this. That was supposed to upload this Ayaka video, as I now get Yogatag ill-fated. I don't even remember the run because I actually recorded it like 12 to 16 hours ago. Oh my goodness, squeaky chair. But let me just make sure I get Yogatag and stuff set down before I move on. I'm not going to remember anything of what I said because I've just been so focused on game dev that I don't remember what I said. But we're on ill-fated, and I do remember we're on Yogatag. Oh my goodness gracious, my fingers. But I think that's about it, right? Well, we're just going to set item stats off as we get into this Yogatag ill-fated character exclusive Ayaka run. And the previous recording that I bumbled and now have lost to time because I was doing stuff strength, dexterity, second mystery, Tachi-san, second encounter, maybe a charisma check. I don't remember what I said, so if I don't end up saying what I wanted to, I think I talked about some really important things, but whether or not they were really relevant, well, we'll see. But anyway, we're here now, so here I am. We're gonna actually re-roll this because Blood Mania is by far the most helpful thing we can grab. Unless we get if we get double flashbacks, I'm playing another run, just letting you know now. And we'll soon see what happens. Otherwise, as usual, we'll go over things that would be normal for this video. Usually in-game stuff, because, well, if there's nothing else to say, I think I'm still of the belief that speaking over dead air is probably what you want to do as a content creator in 95% of the time. Coma, Recluse, painting, footage, and nails. Footage, nails, Recluse, I think is the plan. Yeah. Maybe painting fourth? Depends, really. We do have Blood Mania, but we now need a weapon because we have Recluse. And the main reason for that is that we want to be able to do a lot of damage. Although we can't technically do that with Ayaka's Chalk, so maybe we're okay. I'm going to find out what happens, alright? Although, I'm going to look in here really quickly. If we don't see Eldritch Possession, we'll skip it, because I would rather keep the Doom than whatever else. So I have nails as well. Into painting, into the last one, Coma. So not as many school investigations. Seaside. Let me just make sure. So we're doing footage now, right? Footage, yeah. So we're doing footage now. What's our high threat level location? The forest. So yeah, we're probably going to police station the forest. Our Doom should be relatively okay because we also have Recluse. We are ill-fated, I need to keep that in mind. But for the most part, we shouldn't be needing to put the police patrols in a max threat level location, because the Doom I'll get back in Recluse if we're just weighing the pros and cons. If I get enough funds to do it, actually, I'm Ayaka, so I should actually just be grabbing funds here. I just realized. Again, if I get double flashbacks within the first two mysteries, or first three mysteries, sorry, I'll even make it more. Then fine. But we didn't get a single weapon, so that makes me kind of sad. So we're gonna reroll quickly here and grab the hunting knife. Army knife. Well, no, I was gonna say technically it's a hunting knife, but it said army knife, so I'm going absolutely insane. We're taking whatever we can to help with ill-fated, and away we go. Otherwise, I know I talked about game dev, not really as much to say. If I repeat things that I said in the Yashiro Part 2 suddenly video, then you're gonna have to excuse me, because again, I don't remember what I said. I was too busy trying to make a food mechanic in the very quick third game. Again, if I didn't already say it, excuse me, but I'm gonna say it now. So, working on 3 games. The third game should be the first one that's completely out. It will be complete, but it's gonna be shouldn't take you more than an hour, 2 hours to finish. Which I do think is a good thing for some games' case, but if you have a vision for your game, it doesn't matter. You're not really looking at time invested. Maybe you're looking at, making a story, showcasing your art. That's not the best phrase, but you get what I mean. Putting your art out there, expressing yourself, because I do think video games can definitely be an art form. Let me see. This is reason, right? So this is stamina? Yeah. And on top of other things like financial gain, trying to get a portfolio of your own games up, so on and so forth. Also, Recluse helps us avoid Yogatag. And then the second game is going to be completely non-RPG Maker assets. The first game is going to be RPG Maker assets, but it's going to be a longer kind of thing, or that's what I planned. I forgot to drink the bottle of water, by the way. Eldritch Possession would be nice. Great. I can heal Reason here instead now. Hopefully our max Reason doesn't go any lower. In fact, I should probably just take Recluse now, yeah. So, good. Well, good. Yeah, well, yeah. Anywho, moving on. We do have Branded. I should get rid of that. but it shouldn't be so bad still. So we'll leave branded for a moment, because if I get too branded, then I've pretty much wasted a curse removal. The reason for that is because branded, while it doesn't stack, if it only counts as one, if you have the effect of branded, then you will still be under the effect even if you remove a second one. So while there's no downside to having two, because there's no downside to having two, there's no point in removing one of the branded. So I guess there's a little light at the end of the tunnel. There's a little positive there, but on the flip side of that, we could have removed another curse instead if we need to. That does mean I'm not removing a curse now, but I want my curses right now. Although I'm pretty sure that this is... Do I get faster? I do get a better brace. Do I get better things? I don't think so, right? I think I just messed myself up. I think I could have gone for higher damage. Well, no. If we had 8 knowledge, maybe, but since we don't. Still, though, we want to brace for Severs here, because now we're dealing 6 damage per 1 reason, as opposed to dealing 12 damage per 3 reason, which is arguably better. So I only lost 2 reason here, where as opposed to usually losing, well, 3 or 6, because I would have two-shot that. But you get the point. I saved on reason. Also, I didn't talk about the third game, so I should do that now. Third game is going to be really short. I just said how it wasn't going to take more than an hour or two. Going to be using really basic RPG assets, except for the fact that, I added in a few here. I think if you've seen my World of Horror kind of... Well, not World of Horror. It's a World of Horror kind of fan game. But if you saw the Valentine's Day project, as I got Suicidal and Brain Damage as curses in-game, then you kind of understand... You would have seen these assets before. It's the Force assets, but hey. On that note, as I kind of go on a tangent here... By the way, yeah, we should only be visiting the school once or twice, so we should still be okay. But basically, more RPG Maker games. I don't think, in my opinion, a lot of RPG Maker games, although there is a stigma just straight out, I've talked about this before, but if you're making a game in RPG Maker and you're looking to make either, a game that appeals to more of an audience, whether it's financial, you're trying to, be successful financially, and or a mix of that, or you're trying to use it as a medium. I'm not saying you can't, but you are dealing with a kind of general debuff, because I do believe that the general audience, in terms of if you're trying to appeal to a large quantity, let's say even 100,000 people or more, you're gonna have a debuff, because people don't look on RPG Maker games too, not kindly, but it's easy to... there are a lot of RPG Maker games, and that's not just because I was deciding whether or not I wanted to take the Doom or lose the funds. I think we can trade off the funds for now. I forgot I was talking about the RPG Maker debuff. Basically, if you're an RPG Maker dev, you're dealing with more of a disadvantage. That's not to say that you're always going to be that way. If you make a good game, it's going to be a good game. Being an RPG Maker game has less of a bearing than one would think, but there's a debuff, I would say. We can brace into cool stuff here, can't we? I think we can. And the reason why that's relevant is, if nothing else, because I know I'm making an RPG Maker game with RPG Maker assets, then I know I'm going to be losing audience, at least at the very beginning, when they glance over, say, look, the thumbnail of the game, or just gameplay of the game, or a trailer of the game, because I plan to do that. And they're going to be like, oh, this is just like any other RPG Maker game, blah. So, if nothing else, the other way to say this, as I go into painting with 10 stamina and 7 reason, is that... I forgot what I was going to say, because I was talking about the game. Gosh, dang it. I think I'll remember in a moment. Just give me some time. Let me see. Forest. We're still on Ill-Fated, by the way, so I need to be very careful here, not to lose reason. Although, sometimes your God Tag doesn't give me the choice. So... Hey, if we make it out of painting, we should be okay. Not relatively, we should just be okay. And I think we can nearly one-shot everything. Yeah, 36 damage guaranteed per turn. But I mean, if we're staying on the topic, RPG Maker games do have a debuff. The more RPG Maker assets you use, even if you paid for them and they're or available to use for commercial projects, let alone obviously personal projects, then people are going to look at the game and be like, oh, it's listed like every RPG Maker game. Oh, what I was trying to say was, so if you looked at any advice for developers for RPG Maker, there's a very common piece of advice that is, make your game not look like an RPG Maker game, which I do believe is true if you're trying to appeal. But obviously, when people dig deeper into your game, it's obviously not in a majority. At least I don't believe it's a majority reason of whether a game will be good or not, but I do believe it's more than, say, like 11-12% of the reason why people may or may not play your game is using RPG Maker assets that everyone's familiar with, even if you've bought them. There are a lot of good ones, by the way, but one of my smaller but still not significant, but is a reason that I want to see more, is I just want to see more games that are successful. And in my opinion, if I didn't already say this already, because I feel like I'm now repeating some things, but I forgot, is that I think it's less... using RPG Maker assets, there is kind of a first impression kind of deal to these things. But at the same time, I think a large part of it is also just the games are not... the gameplay is kind of lacking. There are things about the story that may or may not make sense. Characterization may not be the strongest in some games. I'm not going to say weak. It's actually just... I think there's a more positive spin in things not being as strong. Also, I should have gotten rid of brand. Never mind, we have 2 branded, so forget that. But as I said before, there's something happening. So yeah, I do live in a location where people can come to the place I'm living in and talk to me about things. It's happened, I think, a few times over the past month, but yeah, when people knock on the door, you answer. Usually it's kind of weird because usually I'm not recording. It just happened to be that I'm recording at the time, but I'm struggling in real life as I say things happen. I forgot what my train of thought was. I think it's only been like a few minutes. Yeah, well, you can... yeah. Anywho, what are we doing here? Did I forget to do a thing, by the way? Please tell me I'm okay. Are we gonna be okay? We do get to... no, we don't get to level up. If we keep Bath, though, we'll survive. What are we doing here? Might as well drink this bottle of water. And we'll move on. Yeah, but yeah. You know, answer the door. Things happen. Usually, it's not up to me. I do have people living around me, but, you know, when I'm the only one available, I'll do my part. By the way, I think we're okay. Do we have the 6th floor? We do. So I have to worry about that. Well, actually, we'll level up. So we should be fine no matter what. Yeah, I forgot my second encounter, but we're going to rest twice just to be sure. And then we'll move on. So, yeah, as I move on here... yeah, the only other thing I have to say is this video pretty nearly much comes to an end, is that still working on game dev. Hopefully I get something out by the end of the month, because it's only on me... well, if nothing else... the next week will probably be in February, or we'll be in February by the next weekend, but you get what I mean. I've got to do some stuff, and it's only up to me. I'm only hurting myself by not working on game dev. That's all I have to say. We did Recluse second. I really did forget. I don't think we fought anything else. I think we fought one thing, maybe, but we didn't fight anything else, and I think Takshi-san here just completely collapses. And if nothing else, if you're waiting for Roll of Horror stuff and you've listened this far, then I'll treat you by saying we're going to do some custom content series right after this. Well, in the middle of the because suddenly series, it's not really sudden if I... wait, it really wasn't the roommate? Okay. Unless I didn't fight anything. Well, I guess future Jordan will find out. But yeah, I will be doing a custom content series, and I'll probably be doing it in between suddenly, but we'll see, because I'm going to be working on game dev. So this next week might be something weird. But yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. If you have anything to say, you know what to do. Bye!